Instant Messenger is an AOL developed, shit, what would you call it?
Since adolescence, basically, we've had access to the World Wide Web. Most of us can remember back when we were little, when we first maybe got the internet or our first computer. As we've grown up, we found more uses for it beyond just checking email.
I mean, we've grown up with it just as much as television. It's second nature to our generation.
The internet is basically the way, like the way to go. Like, you do everything through the internet.
Well, I think all of a sudden there was this huge resource for just finding out stuff, information, but also connecting to people in a new way.
We grew up with the internet. It's not like something that came along and during our lifetime. We were born and it was already in its infancy, and we grew up along with it. So, I mean, as it grows, we grow, but it's growing a lot faster than we are.
There isn't a class that I'm in right now that doesn't require internet access on a daily basis. So I think that it's something that's been culturally enforced with our generation in particular. I mean, through high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, you have internet access or computer access. So I think maybe that has a lot of influence on why they call us the N generation.
As we approach the 21st century, a new means of communication is emerging. This technology uses computer networks to link people on every continent. If we are destined to live in a global village, one day we will all be connected to the internet.
We are able to find out information, anything we want, whenever we want, and our parents didn't have that opportunity. They had to go to encyclopedias, and even then that's limited in what's going to be printed in an encyclopedia. We can find out news, we can talk to people, we can look up how much money we've been spending, and that's stuff that our parents couldn't do.
I found often that my parents would come to me for help with a computer problem, saying, what does this error message mean, or how do I do this? I had to, when I left for college, write up several pages on how to do something on the computer, which they frequently needed my help with. And I still get calls from my parents and even my sisters somewhat saying, how do I do this? I need help finding this.
I don't think I communicate with my parents online because if they need something, they call me. If I need something, I call them. I still correspond via U.S. Postal Service, snail mail, with my parents, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a huge fan of the classical mail system of letter writing.
I identify myself with the Venezuelan culture more closely, but I consider myself an American because I've gotten so used to the commodities that this culture has to offer. With my dad, for example, he was born in 1936, and with his generation, letter writing was the most important thing that you could do. He always saw as anybody that used a typewriter had a personality flaw because they had poor penmanship, and so his ability to use the internet is quite hindered by that. I know now he's trying to adapt to the instant messaging world, and he'll send me a letter every once in a while, but instead of using email, he accidentally sends it through IM, and he just does not understand it.
I think it's easier to learn a language as a child, and you don't have these preset notions of things. It's kind of like that with computers and technology. Our parents grew up learning this older version of computers, like typewriters, and just not the way we learned it. They just learned English per se, and then now they're trying to learn Spanish when they're trying to learn the computer.
The way that society is running and the way people use computers today, if I didn't know, I'd be the one behind. Like, I wouldn't be able to benefit. So I think for those reasons, it's why I'll always be better than my dad with that. So.
Instant Messenger is a computer program that allows real-time communication, like a conversation using text back and forth.
Like I said, it's more convenient sometimes than talking on the telephone. Like maybe you're trying to type a paper and it's kind of hard to, hold the phone and type. You can just type all at one time, so.
I just think it's kind of like a speeded up email system that people use to communicate with, get messages and things sent at a quicker rate.
It's like a radio, a two-way radio, and it's really fast. It's like really fast email, basically.
An instant message is like a conversation. It promotes dialogue. It is a dialogue box. It's instant. I think it's in the name, the secret to its popularity.
It's like passing notes over the internet, but it's a lot faster and a lot greater distance, obviously.
I mean, well, with college students, we're already on the computer all the time anyway, so why walk across the hall to ask a homework question when I can just IM my hallmate?
IM allows you to have a curtain over you that no one knows who you are but what you tell them. So you could say, hey, I'm a 17-year-old female who lives in New York, but you're not. And the person on the other end has nothing to base that on. They either take you at your word or say, yeah, whatever.
You can definitely change yourself a lot in a lot of different ways, such as your physical appearance. You could describe it as differently. You could use someone else's photo, misrepresenting yourself in various ways. But I have never done that I can remember. Why not? Because I like who I am. That's kind of self-centered, but it's true. I mean, why describe myself as somebody who I'm not if it's just going to end up biting me in the butt later?
It's just a sick world that we live in. We've got the good and the bad, and in everything there's going to be a flaw because man is flawed.
People are more than just words that appear on a TV screen. You can't get to know somebody online as well as you can somebody in person. 5 minutes spent with somebody is more than 5 months talking to them online as far as I'm concerned, because if you're there, it's a lot harder to hide, who you really are.
Personally, when I talk to someone on AIM, I like to know who's on the other end. I like to have a picture in my head of who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to someone and I think I'm talking to a 30-year-old male police officer, but I'm really talking to a 12-year-old middle school girl, that bothers me.
I think being able to change who you are can be appealing to a lot of people. Some people just aren't happy with themselves, with the way they were born, with the way they look, with the way they feel, with their normal lives. And going on the internet and creating some fantasy character that they want to be, it allows you this total dream world pretty much. And you're communicating as the person you want to be, not the person that you actually are.
It raises self-esteem because you quote-unquote get better at your game, and you can start talking to people out in the open better. You get a type of social refinement out of it.
I think people that are hiding themselves, that are not letting people know who the real person is, have some sincerely deep issues psychologically and emotionally with who they actually are, and they're unable to present themselves in a manner that they feel would be appealing to another person, so they just make up these identities that they know people would find interesting.
Well, you can invent yourself in any way online. Online, you're not having actual physical contact with a person, and you don't have to worry about little things like them looking at you, or you don't have to worry about your physical appearance. You don't have to worry about the tone of your voice. You don't have to worry about, shit, is my hair messed up, or you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Usually the people that I talk to are those that I've known, and if I haven't known them, they're classmates or someone that already knows who I am, so I really can't change my appearance or my sex.
I could be a black woman named Moo if I wanted to be, I could be anybody that I really wanted to be.
My screen name relates to the car I had in high school. I'm an avid BMW enthusiast, and I had a really old one in high school that I absolutely loved, so my screen name is modeled after that.
My screen name is Lauren Lou 13, and it originally was Lauren Lou in 6th grade. I picked it because my name is Lauren, but it's spelled Lauren, but I don't like it that way, and my mom almost spelled it Lauren, L-O-R-E-N.
My screen name is B-Man Miller, which I chose because B-Man Miller is a combination of the nickname that everyone called me in middle school and high school, and that my dad originally coined when I was a little kid.
My screen name is RevNad217, which is my name backwards, Revnad Damdar.
My name is Charlie Muffin, and it's actually my middle name with Uffin attached to it because I went through a phase of being quite obsessed with muffins. I would have one for breakfast every day.
My initials are L-E-W, and so I just spelled Lauren and Lou the way they're not spelled, and that's what it used to be, just Lauren Lou. And then we got rid of AOL, and so I had to start all over again. 13 was my sports number in high school, so I just wanted it to be somewhat similar so people remembered it.
When I was a little kid, it embarrassed me, but when I was in middle school, when everybody started calling me B-Man, I thought that was kind of cool, so I made that my screen name and I never changed it.
Screen name is Sixerata. Spelled backwards, it's ataraxis, which means peace of mind, essentially. And I chose that because I guess I've always sought to always have peace of mind.
My screen name is Blythe Elise, also my name, Blythe Elise. I picked that. I kind of like my name, which that sounds really narcissistic, but it's not. I mean, Blythe is an original name. I mean, it's also a word in the dictionary, meaning happy and carefree, and I like that. I like the dual meaning, that it was me and it was something else.
People don't like to interact with strangers a lot, and I think we all are a little different online because you can say things that you normally wouldn't have the courage to say to somebody's face or even over the phone. You can be a lot ruder, a lot more aggressive. I find myself being a little bit more aggressive than I usually am.
It's almost become a step in a relationship to share screen names now, and I suppose it could even be used in place. I've heard of it being used in place of asking a girl for her number. You ask her for her screen name, say, hey, let's chat sometime. I've never done that, but I have heard of it.
I am quite opposed to relationships online because I think you're not communicating as much as you should, and a lot of things can be misconstrued, and it's really nothing compared to a real relationship. It's lacking in a lot of things.
I had somebody, I still don't know who it was. It was just, somebody came on and just said like, hey, you wanna fuck? And I was like, no. And I was like, block, like get that person away. I do not want to talk with them. I mean, that was really freaky because I was just like, all right, what is this?
Like when I'm at Express or something and I can't find a shirt that I want, I don't really like to go up to the salesperson and ask them where it is. Just, maybe it's because I feel stupid, I don't know what it is, but I mean, my generation is already starting to lose that social interaction. And like with my brother, he thinks it's fine to break up online. So how would he be able to handle if he had to break up with someone face to face?
I mean, I think you can have relationships to some degree. I mean, some people even like fall in love, if you can use that term, online. And I think it's possible. I think you can be emotionally connected to somebody you've met online. However, I'd still say it's very different from an actual physical, real-time relationship.
To be able to say that you're really in love with someone, you have to have met that someone, and you have to have met that person, in the real tangible form. I think it's possible that people think they do because it is that fantasy, and so they can remove other things that they wouldn't want in that person in the real form. Even if you have a camera of somebody that's like, from here up, you don't know if I got like, 3 legs or a tail or anything like that. I mean, I could be really messed up.
An away message is designed to tell somebody that you're away and perhaps what you're doing, but I think it's evolved into some people put their entire life story on their away message.
Away message is basically it's kind of like a note on your door, only it's for your instant messenger profile than anything else.
Okay, stepping away from my computer is an event. I have to sit and think of an away message for at least a couple minutes before I can go away. So they're very important.
They put poems, I've seen Bible verses, I've seen different pick art, like dashes and dots.
If people were aware of how many times I actually looked at an away message, I'd kind of be embarrassed. Because sometimes I'll look at the same away message about 15, 20 times, which is sad. But I just think it happens because it's up there and you just see a little sticky note icon and you just kind of click to see what it is, and sure enough it's the same away message they had about 15 minutes ago.
Say you have a phone call. You put an away message up that says phone, and people automatically know that you have a phone call. You can't use instant messaging service.
Most of the times I don't want to tell people where I am, but I want them to be witty, and I want them to be in some way a reflection of who I am.
I have to admit, of the parts of instant messenger I take seriously, I take my away messages entirely too seriously. I want my away messages to reflect my mood and crap like that, and it's stupid, but it's just, you know, a guilty pleasure that I indulge myself in.
I think that because instant messaging is so impersonal, people look for a way to be unique, to be special, to actually put some piece of themselves out there for other people to look at. And people find that extremely interesting.
I don't know. I guess it's just a secret way of looking into their lives when they have no idea that you're like monitoring them in some way, so.
I would have to say that I think that AIM will become less important as I grow older, and I don't know the answer to that. That's very hypothetical. But I think of AIM, and maybe it's because my AIM used developed while I was growing and developing when I was a budding teenager, but at the same time my AIM use could stay steady if all the people that I normally talk to on AIM continued their AIM use as well.
I think 5 to 10 years, I think everything's going to be consolidated into one great product. You're going to have your computer, your cell phone, you're going to have all those capabilities on one item. And I think with American culture, when in this time where everything's just shrinking, time is going faster and faster, you kind of have that need for it.
To me, instant messaging is like watching a black and white movie. After you've lived in the real world and seen and had conversations with all the different aspects, like tone of voice and, facial expressions and body language and things like that. Those are like seeing all the different colors of the world. And then when you limit yourself to instant messaging, it's like you're watching a black and white movie. You're still getting the conversation of the movie. You're still seeing it and you understand what's going on, but you're not seeing the colors of it at all.
America is the freedom country. And if you have freedom to do things that you want to do, communicate and commune amongst other people, I think that is another reflector of our culture, in that we have the liberty to do and communicate in a plethora of ways that other countries may not get to experience or may not have.
One of these days, school will eventually be online too. Your teacher will just pop up and she'll see all of you and you'll see her, and you'll be able to sit at home in your pajamas. And while that has a lot of benefits, at the same time, you lose social interaction, you lose learning how to talk to people.
There's stuff, kids that are younger than me, like I talk to them about the internet, they know more about it. Like 10-year-old kids, a 10-year-old kid I guarantee knows more about the internet than the average 20-year-old.
Usually you'd have to have somebody's phone number before and call them, and you kind of have to know them or know their phone number. Now you can just kind of explore on the internet and randomly meet people there.
It's hard for me to foresee the future of AIM use for myself personally, but I definitely think that AIM will consistently continue to attract young people.
I think there is a divide. I don't understand how you can get to age 13 and 14 and not know where the web address box is. Like, you can't even type in hotmail.com.
So you get a piece of mail in your mailbox, and the first thing you get this glimpse of hope, like, yes, I got mail, I'm popular. Well, it's basically the same thing with instant messenger. The box pops up and says hi, and you automatically think, hey, this person really wants to talk to me. They want to take time out of their day and talk to me.
I think it's definitely what America has turned into. I mean, we're, more bang for the buck, or cheaper, whatever's cheaper and easier. Instead of calling somebody on the phone, you can just get on your computer and talk to them,
What is Instant Messenger?
Instant Messenger is a program by which you can communicate with other people.